one pass for more than 10 yards downfield. So last night, Belichick says they need to do it all better. Your take on what's happening with the Patriots, is the dynasty over?
You know, it's interesting. I think that there is good news and bad news for the Patriots. The bad news is one of the things they need to do better is select better players to put around Tom Brady on that offensive side. Count me as one who thinks if you take Peyton Manning and lift him out of the situation he's in Denver and put him where Brady is, and then just put Brady where Manning is right now with that talent around him, the teams would look very similar to the way they look right now. So that's the bad news. I just don't think they have a lot of talent on offense. To put a 37-year-old quarterback behind an offensive line that has two rookies on it makes no sense to me whatsoever. So I'm not sure exactly what the thinking is there. Here's the good news. You just gave us the stat about how he was only 1 of 7 on passes downfield last night. The bottom 4 quarterbacks, I'm sure you've seen this in the notes this morning, the bottom 4 quarterbacks in the NFL on passes downfield so far this season are Tom Brady, E.J. Manuel, Geno Smith, and Ryan Tannehill. They all play in the AFC East. They remain, I think, a prohibitive favorite to win that division. But for the first time in a long time, it's more about the division than it is about the Patriots.
All right, it's more about the division than it is about the Patriots. Stephen A. Smith, your take.
Well, listen, I think he's absolutely right. I mean, when you look at the division, which is the AFC East, I don't think the Patriots have much to worry about. I like what I'm seeing from the Buffalo Bills, at least until a couple of weeks ago. Miami, I guess you can't ignore them with their victory, even though it was recently against Oakland. But the New England Patriots are clearly the class of the AFC East, and I don't think we need to worry about it because by default alone, they should win the division because I don't think the other teams are ready. Sorry, I didn't bring up your Jets, but they're 1-3 right now, and they're lucky to be even relevant.
Well, no, look, let's look at the quarterback situations there, okay? You just brought up Buffalo. They just benched their starting quarterback. In Miami, the coach won't commit to their starting quarterback, and in New York, the coach admits on the radio he doesn't have the authority to change the quarterback if he wants to. So I'll bet on Brady, no matter how pedestrian that offense looks, over any of the rest of that collection of what is right now a quarterbacking mess.
Well, at the same time, you're right that, see, I have to look at the hierarchy of the New England Patriots. That's from Mr. Kraft to Belichick on down. How is it that you have this guy who is clearly recognized as elite, I mean, universally, and you don't get him the help that you need, especially when you consistently hear who the comparison to him is, which is Peyton Manning. But you see what John Elway has surrounded him with. I think it's a situation where a legitimate argument can be made that Tom Brady has been taken advantage of, taken for granted, rather, by the New England Patriots. I'm shocked by that, and I'm shocked that it's actually gotten tolerated in a city like Boston. It's a great sports town, knows their sports, are diehard, they're rabid, and they are on top of it. I am shocked that the Patriots organization have been able to get away with not giving him more talent to work with.
I would actually say that your first phrase, taken advantage of to some degree. Look at the pay cuts that Brady has taken, the money he's left on the table, in theory, so they would surround him with more guys. And all of a sudden, Wes Welker, his best friend, is out of town. Logan Mankins, his best offensive lineman, is out of town. Brady will never say it, but I can't believe he's happy.
No way.
Before I take issue with what you just said, may I say, changing the subject slightly, you were very nice to us the day we did your show.
Yeah.
I want to say publicly, because it doesn't get said enough, you are the best at what you do in the radio or TV business.
The best.
You are the best.
Without question.
The best.
And
thank you.
I hope people grasp that, who are listening or watching every morning.
Well said, Bayless. And it's true. It's nothing but the truth.
Now for my issue.
Yeah.
Where were you a year ago when a Patriots team that I loved was winning at Atlanta on a Sunday night when the Falcons were flying high, where they went to Baltimore at the end of the year when Baltimore was iffy but still trying to make the playoffs? It was a crucial game for the Ravens at home. Tom Brady won the game 41-7. And where were you when he beat Andrew Luck, the great Andrew Luck, at home 43-22 in a playoff game with arguably even fewer receivers than he has at this moment? Okay? So how did he do that? That's why I kept telling you he deserves last year's MVP award. That's okay?
My issue with what you're saying, Skip, is that you act as if that's justification for what the New England Patriots have not done. I'm saying to you that because of what Tom Brady has done with less, that should incentivize them even more, especially a franchise that hasn't won a Super Bowl since 2004. That should incentivize them even more to go out there and get him more help.
No, you know why it doesn't? They think he's Tom Brady. They think he's so great that they can get away with doing what they're doing around him and save enough money to go get Darrelle Revis and bring him in under the cap and all the other players that they have. They have some high-priced players on defense. Wilfork costs a lot.
Yeah, but you got to, but again, because Tom Brady is a quarterback, I've never seen a quarterback that has thrown a touchdown to himself. I've never seen that. Somebody has to catch those passes.
Were you screaming last year he didn't have enough help?
Well, I wasn't screaming about it because I didn't particularly care. To be quite honest with you, you're the New England Patriots lover, not me. I just think they're really America's team and not the mediocre Cowboys. But my point is, getting back to the subject, I looked at the New England Patriots. I was never high on Danny Amendola. I told you that.
You did?
You talked to me about Kimbrel Tompkins and Aaron Dobson and those boys. I like, they all right. They can play. You talked to me about Ridley and Vereen. I was like, they're all right. They can play. But at the same time, I was never really enamored with them. I just looked at other teams in the AFC because I knew that Tom Brady was good enough to maintain a level of competitiveness. But to get over the hump, it still doesn't negate the fact that the New England Patriots have taken him for granted.
I think also to some degree, look, what you're saying is correct. They also beat Peyton Manning in that huge comeback game last year.
Yep.
And New Orleans.
Some of it is probably almost miraculous. I mean, it's why I think Belichick is the best coach of this generation, maybe in any sport. Greg Popovich probably would make an argument on the other side.
Good.
And why I think Brady is the best quarterback of his generation and in the discussion with the greatest quarterbacks of all time. I guess what I'm saying is I don't understand the thinking.
Yeah.
You have a great quarterback in what is obviously the twilight of his career. Look what the Broncos are doing. You're pushing all your chips to the center of the table, and the Patriots are not. They keep rolling it back. They have all these assets they keep not using. Now, yes, this year they spent the money on Revis, which I was, A, devastated by as a Jet fan, but B, very impressed with. And I picked them to go to the Super Bowl this year. My Super Bowl is New Orleans and New England, which doesn't look real good right now. And I believe that New England will look a lot better. I know we have the same picks. I think that New England, in typical Belichick fashion, will look a lot better in November and December than they look now. But do I think they are a legitimate threat to win the AFC? I do not, because I think Cincinnati is markedly better than them, and I think Denver is markedly better than them, and San Diego may be markedly better than them.
Last quick thought. Gronkowski is trying to play his way back into football shape, and it's slow but sure. He had a nice catch late in the game in garbage time. Watch him get a little better and better. And if he does, look out.
I anticipate that he'll get better. I'm simply saying you still need more than him. And they could have gone out and get them. If you're going to go out and get Darrelle Revis, I understand you got to buffer that defense, but you have to protect Tom Brady. And you don't lose a Mankins on your offensive line because you want to save money at the expense of Tom Brady, because Tom Brady is worth the extra money that you would have spent. Let me get to the Jets for a quick second here.
If we must.
Wait,
We
hold on.
must.
Wait 1 second, though. We want him to respond to some sound.
Oh.
Because you mentioned earlier that the lowest completion percentage on throws more than 10 yards downfield belong to all four quarterbacks